Well, hello there. Steve McCormick here, taking the helm once again on another episode of Tub Talk, the podcast for IT consultants. Now, this season, we're focusing on speaking to IT solution providers and managed service providers just like you to understand what makes them tick. Specifically, we're speaking to the MSP companies that won awards in the recent MSP Awards by SuperOps. Today, I'm joined by Mitch Redekopp of Riverity Technology Services, who won the award in the Emerging MSP of the Year category of the MSP Awards. Mitch is the CEO of Riverity Technology Services, an MSP located in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada. In the past 7 years, Riverity Tech has become known as one of the top managed service providers in Saskatchewan, while also having a highly experienced software development on hand. The Riverity Tech business that has a deep focus on packaging together cybersecurity and creating bespoke solutions to help improve their clients' internal business processes. Mitch currently lives in Saskatoon with his wife and 3 children. He is an avid soccer fan, Manchester City. Coffee and technology are also his loves. Welcome to Tub Talk, Mitch. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. Excited to be here.
Brilliant. Okay, before we dive straight in, can you help us understand a little bit more about your company? So you're based in Saskatchewan, Canada. How many people do you have in your team and things like that?
So there's actually 7 of us in total. Myself, then there's 3 IT staff members. We have 2 software developers and 1 marketing lead.
Excellent. And what type of clients do you typically work with? What do you do for them?
Yeah, so the type of clients we work with, we don't really have a niche. We really only have one requirement when it comes to working with us, and that's they need to understand the risk in their business and be willing to secure it. So if we can't see eye to eye on that, it's just not going to be a good fit for us. And that's one thing that we've kind of grown into. It's being a bit more picky with people we work with, but it's kind of important nowadays, obviously, with the rise in cybercrime and being able to have that security first mindset. So, yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah, I think a lot of MSPs are actually looking to kind of leverage that kind of security side of things. And it takes a lot of effort to actually get it right. Brilliant. So on a personal level, what led you to work in the managed service provider industry? What kind of brought you there?
I guess for me, growing up, always being into gaming, building my own computer is probably a very typical story there. That was an initial driving force, so I love doing that. And then later on in life, when my daughter was born, my wife and I were both working at a restaurant, line cook, server, love story. Not making like really good money or anything like that. I knew I wanted better for my wife and my daughter. So we kind of looked at options. There was a 1-year network administration course here in the city. And that is actually, I took that, and that's where my teacher, Jeff Shirley, he quit after 3 months to start his own company, which was Riverity Tech. So during my year, I kind of hounded him for a job. And sure enough, when I was done, I got hired. And this company started out as an Access database company. Just kind of dabbled in IT. And obviously since then, Access has come full circle. And now we're offering, upgrading all of our clients with modern web, mobile, desktop applications. And then the IT transitioned from that break, fix, reactive approach to the cybersecurity-first mindset.
Oh, excellent. So yeah, it sort of organically grew from your love of this kind of thing, that this kind of tech field, which I quite like. Okay, so you must be very pleased then to have won the award, the Emerging MSP Award, in the recent SuperOps MSP Awards. Do you think you know why you and your business won? What made you stand out?
So we're obviously really, really pleased and humbled for winning this. I think that big factor of it was, and when COVID hit, we were actually in a merger with another company. We broke off then. We were right down to 2 people. So we had to restart from scratch, and clients didn't want to move during that. As soon as it hit, it was just kind of up in the air of what do we do? A lot of clients weren't making decisions quickly. And I feel like, I was kind of thrust into that CEO role for the first time where Jeff had taken the second company that we actually had and was kind of leading that helm. And that's when I started to learn a lot about what a managed service provider was instead of just doing break fix, joining the tech tribe and things like that, reading lots of books. I was kind of really a book nerd then, just diving into that stuff. So, and then in 2022 in May is when I was actually afforded the opportunity to buy the company from Jeff, which I did. And we really made a big change in our mindset in 2022. And that was thanks to Chris and Cindy and the team at Seven Figure MSP. So we joined that program, completely changed our sales, and head trash is kind of one of the bigger things, I think, as well. We were able to educate our clients on, the state of things, where cyber attacks are, cyber liability insurance, how important that is, making sure they understand the risks, how to properly protect everything that's in their business. And I think that set us apart from providers around here specifically. They're starting to see us as kind of like coming, ahead of the game, not being just a commodity, not being able to do, a piece of paper, quotes here and there, just, who's the cheapest provider in town. That's not what we want to be. So we represent professional service to our clients. We were able to grow and double our revenue in the first year alone of this whole new mindset. So.
Yeah, it is extraordinary, isn't it? How you can kind of make a lot more revenue by actually making yourself be that actual expert that people want. And I think that is very important. So we talked about it earlier, but you have a deep focus on cyber security. Can you tell us a bit more about what your offerings look like there, Mitch, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So for us, security first mindset means that we really want to, anyone that comes by and wants to have a first time appointment with us, meet with us, we tell them about the cyber risk assessment. And before we'll do any business to anybody, we need to do that assessment on them. We get in there, we find out what kind of data they're holding, what kind of personal identifiable information that they're holding, what kind of security holes do they have in their company. So, it's our job to stay up to date and protect our clients, and backups just aren't enough nowadays. It's not a matter of having it encrypted. What happens when it's sold? Are you going to bounce back if you don't protect it? Do the clients know the cost of opening a call center, repairing their public facing image? Trying to get the funds back that were drained out of their bank account? Do they even know that the data in their company, possesses value to bad actors? It's scary, and if they don't know that, they're going to become the next victim. And a lot of them, they always say that they're too small to get hacked, but they're just too small to make the news. That's the story. So, we're not going to be out there saying that we're absolutely going to stop you from getting hacked, because nobody can promise that. That's just unreal. We're here to mitigate it to the best of our ability, and ensure that there's something that's been put in place. So when the time comes, we know exactly what we're doing to get them out of it.
Absolutely. I mean, there is no panacea to kind of fix every possible contingency when it comes to cyber security, is there? I think it's more about peace of mind, about how you can react to it, about how you can prove that you're trying to do as much as you possibly can, so that insurers are kind of satisfied for that kind of thing nowadays. So yeah,
Absolutely.
I think that is really, really good.
Yeah, especially with cyber liability insurance as well. I mean, that's one thing that I think a lot of people will not be filling out correctly. And I mean, I don't know how it is over in the UK and stuff here, but when we renewed ours, it went from 3 pages to 10 pages, right? It's just getting crazy. And, sometimes we have to go look up what all these acronyms mean. It's just, absolutely, it's out of contrl. So making sure that,
it's a minefield now, isn't it? I mean, it is getting crazy here now too. MSPs are now kind of hammering home the point now that businesses need to be trying to do their best to prevent themselves from being targets of bad actors and all of that kind of thing. So they're doing things like cyber essentials training. They're doing training for staff so that they can spot when they're being phished. All of that kind of thing now has become just a much bigger beast than it was, let's say, 10 years ago. So yeah, I think that's absolutely fantastic. Now you've also got a software development department as part of your MSP offering there, Mitch. So how does that dovetail into the other things that you provide?
Yeah, I mean, it's great having software developers on hand. Obviously, as I mentioned, we started as an access database company. So it kind of kept with that theme and really bringing those full circle. Like I said, we're upgrading them left, right, and center. We still work on access if people want it. It's not very common to have people around that can do it, so it's still good for us there. But yeah, we're trying to push everyone into more secure stuff like that. But yeah, truth be told, like we haven't really done anything in the IT space for our own development internally. They've been so busy with clients that way. But yeah, calling on them to help, create some internal automation for clients. That's definitely an asset. Being able to like look at, the different processes that our clients are using and seeing if we can automate it to make their jobs a little bit better and improve their efficiency.
Excellent. And are you considering branching out into more kind of business related things, or are you just focusing on the things that you've mentioned there about streamlining what they've got?
Yeah, no, absolutely. We've always thought about creating more products. We do actually have one product out there, not MSP related though. It's called Enroller, and it's for a registration platform, kind of for like youth camps and things like that. We actually did it with the Boys and Girls Club here in local, built it for them. So yeah, one of the products we have out there, definitely have more ideas brewing, but like I said, yeah, it's time versus effort at the moment. So we kind of need to make sure that we got the balance right. But yeah, would definitely want to look into that in the future. And if I can target something in the MSP space that needs addressing, that would be great too. But there's a lot of software companies out there, and they're always got the ideas brewing. So
yeah, I think that there is this big now push to kind of diversify and try and do other things. So some are doing training, some are doing the kind of more kind of projects, kind of management roles now, which is kind of what I used to do when I used to work in corporate IT. So it is fascinating to actually see that kind of spread now, which is great.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to go back now and talk to you a little bit about the MSP Awards that SuperOps hosted there. So where did you hear about the MSP Awards, and how did you find the entry process there? Was it easy to do?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, I've been following SuperOps for a couple of years now, since they kind of started up. Did some testing with them and helping them with a couple of things there. So yeah, I followed them on LinkedIn. They obviously posted about that, and that's kind of where I saw it coming. Really excited to see where they go as a PSA RMM. That's a tough space to be in as well, but there's a lot of competitors out there nowadays. But yeah, I think they got something going for sure. And the entry process, super great, really straightforward. And when I saw the list of judges, I was blown away at some of the best names in the industry for sure. And I definitely wanted to toss my name in the hat and try to impress. So glad that I did.
Absolutely. So what does winning an award like this mean to you and your business? How will this lift you going forward?
Yeah, I mean, it's everything. There's a lot of little local business awards, right? But nothing really directly related to the MSP industry. I think MSP is a very vague term as well. Maybe not something you throw around in your local community where they even know what that means. So being able to share that with my community and it being a worldwide award, that's invaluable. So we're really happy and excited to be able to share that with them.
Absolutely. And I think, well, I would hope that the exposure will be beneficial too for like lead generation and stuff like that. So that's always a bonus. Brilliant. Would you recommend entering this type of award to other MSPs then, why do you think it would benefit them?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you kind of nailed it with the lead gen part. Anything you can do to gain more social proof, do it. That's what I say. So there's, you can network all day long, and anytime you can get kind of, more social proof, more brand awareness, anything out there, yeah, absolutely go for it. So I'll apply for awards when they come up. Just trying to get the name out there, even if you make, the finalists or you make whatever, it's great, right? It's just awareness. Got to get your name out there somehow.
Yes, that just goes without saying now. I mean, it's still a fairly big pool, but it is getting more and more competitive to kind of grab people's attention. So I think that is definitely something to actually focus on there. Okay, if we can go back to you personally, I know that you've authored 2 books on IT security. Can you tell us a bit more about those, please?
Yeah. So back in May 2022, I think I was lucky enough to be invited by Chris Weiser to co-author a book. So it was containing the business strategies that owners can take to protect themselves from hackers. Ended up launching on Amazon, hitting bestseller in a few categories. I was really proud of that. And right back to, I guess, coming full circle to a social proof thing, right? It does not hurt to get more social proof out there and brand awareness. So the other book, it actually wasn't cybersecurity related, but it was a book by Jana Dutton, a business owner, philanthropist here in Saskatoon. So she invited individuals to share their story, whatever it was. In her book, it's called Conversations Over Coffee. So that was also a fantastic experience, and it also hit bestseller on Amazon there. So I definitely had a bit of an imposter syndrome on that one, because it's supposed to be, more about those golden nuggets, and I'm not, the most experienced person yet. This community isn't big, and I knew it's surrounded by some serious heavy hitters. But yeah, maybe in a couple of years or 10 more years, I'll have some more knowledge to share for a different volume of that book. But yeah, it was a great experience either way.
Well, Mitch, I honestly think that the imposter syndrome thing, it doesn't really go away if you're trying something new. I think you're always going to find that you feel like you're kind of expected to be the kind of top of your game when you write books or when you speak on stage. But we're always continually learning, and I think that's the only piece of advice I can give to somebody else there is to actually say that, if you've got a good idea, it doesn't matter if you're not that experienced at it. As long as you're passionate about it, then that's all that really matters. I think from just speaking to you, I think you know that. So I think that just goes without saying. So
yeah, it's a great way to put it. Love that.
So I'm intrigued now. What did you find most challenging about running an IT business? Now, I know that you mentioned earlier on that you started off as more of a kind of a break fix outfit, and then you kind of changed direction there. I just want to hear what you think you found the most challenging part of your transition from starting out to actually where you are now, an award winner. So
yeah. Oh, absolutely. I guess, the biggest thing for me is keeping up with the industry. I feel like, this isn't a once every year or every couple of years kind of training, just to keep up with what's new. It's like, you better be on 2 to 3 webinar calls, something a week, paying attention on LinkedIn for every news article that comes out. There's always something new happening every single week. And if you're not paying attention, you're falling behind on something. So it's a busy industry, and like, it's continuous growth that way. So, as a business owner, it is important for me. As Eric Yelty's my business partner and lead in the tech side of things. He's the actual smart one. So it's also important for him to make sure he's up to date on that kind of stuff as well. But yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things. Other than that, on the actual business level, I think delegating is so key. And it's one thing that I really took way too long to realize. But as an MSP owner, you need to be working on the business, not in the business. Yeah. And that's really key for me. So I think those are kind of the biggest challenging things for me as an IT business owner.
I think you've hit the nail on the head there, though. I think you have to be working on your business and not in your business. I made that mistake with my own business, and I found I was falling further and further behind the actual growth of it, and I paid the price there. So, but anyway, on the flip side, what would you say was your favorite thing about running your own MSP business?
And it's funny because when we say MSP business now, completely different than just being an IT business owner in my mind, right? I find break fix wasn't as fun, but being an MSP business owner, keeping our clients safe and protected, that they trust in us. I also love the channel and the industry. Just the peers are amazing, vendors are amazing. Everyone's fantastic in this industry. And if I ever decided to call it a day here, I could see myself looking to stick around the industry, see where I fit in. That's definitely my plans in the future. So, but as well, like my staff, you have to take care of the people around you. And I love doing that, contributing to their lives, their personal growth, seeing them, even if they do move on, just knowing that I was part of their journey to where they actually wanted to end up being. So that's all super rewarding.
Wonderful. Yeah. I think you're absolutely right there about the MSP industry. Everyone's so helpful. I've been in this channel for a year now, and there's not a person that won't spare you time, if they think that you're going to get something out of talking to them. There's always somebody there that's willing to to actually offer their insights and their expertise and actually help you. And I think that's the way it has carried on. So those that are ahead of the game are always willing to look back because they've had help when they were only fledglings. So I think that is a wonderful mindset that the industry carries on, which is great.
Yeah,
brilliant. So I've got to ask you now, what about the future then? So what do you see the next few years holding in store for both yourself and for the MSP industry as a whole? I suppose that's probably a bit too broad. Shall we say what's in store for cybersecurity and cyber protection?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think, from what we can see, obviously automation and AI most recently is definitely something that everyone's keeping a close eye on. What's it going to look like and how can it be, how can you harness it correctly? I think is kind of the key. Who's going to get ahead of the curve and manage it that way? So, there's going to be obviously an increased focus on cybersecurity. I think that's still, it's still new enough that it's still going to be growing and getting more and more serious. And that's why I say, I think we're ahead of the curve on that, at least in our area. So hopefully that'll keep going. And then just there's always going to be a growing need for us as MSPs to adapt to any kind of compliance regulations, privacy laws, making sure that we're up to date on that kind of stuff as well. And keep going. And with the AI stuff going, I hope that there still be the demand for personalized, value-added services, that the human touch won't be lost that way. So, there's a whole bunch of things that we have to look at, right? It's just going to be adapting. Like I said, it's ever changing weekly. We got to keep our eyes open, keep reading, see what's new.
Yeah. And for your business specifically, then, do you see yourself branching out into other disciplines in managed security, or are you going to keep your main focus on cyber and that kind of area?
Yeah, I think we're definitely going to keep going where we're at, because it's been good. We're having a nice steady stream of growth with what we're doing. No point in stopping. I love where we're at. We're in growth mode. Obviously, we're a little bit smaller, so we're going to keep that going. Plans to do a lot more educational pieces. I want to make sure that around the city, I'm doing webinars, speaking events, educate everyone I can around here about the industry. And so that's something I'm looking forward to this year for sure, is trying to expand on that and just raise awareness. Really is what it is. It's just getting everyone in that mindset. Security first. That's key.
Brilliant. And can you see yourself having facing any potential obstacles to that in the future? Do you see any kind of areas where the growth of your business might run into potential roadblocks there, or do you think that steady growth for you is going to be the way forward?
Yeah, I think nowadays there's definitely not a manpower issue. That's kind of one of those things where remote is such an easy option now that if you get enough business, it's never a bad problem, right? It's not how am I going to do it? It's just we got to hire, and if I don't have a space in my office, we just have a remote and keep going that way. So for that, I don't see that being any issue. I think it still comes back to the always learning thing. That's the biggest thing, is if not getting rusty, staying sharp, staying ahead of the curve. If I'm out there delivering value to the community with webinars and speaking events, it better be good and it better be up-to-date information. So that'll probably be the biggest challenge.
Okay, then so we're going to kind of change tack here a little bit now, and I want to ask you, who are your influences in life? Are there any mentors, authors, or speakers that have made an impact on what you do, how you work, and how you kind of view your kind of challenges? Who has kind of inspired you?
Yeah, well, there's a few people for sure. For books purposes, They Ask You Answer by Marcus Sheridan was one of those books that kind of just blew my mind open. Completely changed the way I looked at marketing in any sense. So that was definitely a big one. My biggest current influence, everyone in the Chris Weiser program. I mean, we push each other all the time. It's such a good group, like incredible. We push each other, always willing to help, teach, learn, that kind of stuff. Nobody's like, I'm too big for you. Even if we're completely different spectrums of it, it's like everyone's willing to help all the time. So that's been great. Listening to different podcasts like Richard Tubbs, or spend a lot of time listening to Paul Green as well. That's been key to changing mindsets and growth. Like I love just biking around at night in the summers, listening to podcasts, trying to keep up to date. That's the best. When I first started, especially that transition from break fix to MSP, I would say like Nigel Moore, the Tech Tribe, that was an excellent first step in helping to get where I am today. And then, I want to give a shout out to Ernest Murray of Genuine Technology Group. So he's based in the States there, and he may not know it, but he was by far the biggest influence and impact on my life when it came to becoming an MSP. I probably spent 2 hours maybe on a call with him 2 years ago, and he completely blew my mind with how to position myself away from that old break fix way and becoming that all-in-one managed service provider. Since then, it was literally life-changing, business-changing. So I don't think he checks his LinkedIn. I told him once, but I've never got a hold of him. So maybe if he hears this, he'll know. And then more personally, like locally, Jeff Shirley, who I mentioned before, was the owner of the business. He was the guy who brought me on, never once made me feel like I was just a tech in the company either. He really kind of showed me the ropes and put me right into the business and in the position I am today. So I'll forever be grateful to him for that.
Brilliant. Yeah. I mean, you always have to thank that one person that actually does, kind of give you that rocket fuel that you kind of need to actually step up. And I think that, I mean, obviously for me, it's going to be Richard Tubb, but for you, that is wonderful. Brilliant. We've got just a few questions left, not long now, so we're on the home straight. But what I really wanted to ask you, Mitch, was because you have won this emerging MSP award at the MSP Awards by SuperOps. Again, congratulations there. If you had one golden nugget of advice that you could give to budding MSPs who maybe one day may be up for winning an award like this, what would you say to them?
Oh yeah, I don't think I can just do one. That's tough. I don't know which one's the most important, but
you can do here's 2 or 3. It's fine.
Yeah, here's what I think. Definitely sticking to your stack, your tech stack. Throw the blinders on for at least a year if you're starting out. I know some people could really get focused on that and always looking to play around with different tools, and you'll get far behind that way. So yeah, pick something, stick to it for at least a year. That was one mistake I made for sure, is getting that fear of missing out and seeing shiny objects and wanting to play with those things. But and as I mentioned before, like delegate your tasks as soon as you can, so you can start working on the business. I made the smart choices of always hiring people that are smarter than me. You definitely want that. Don't go the other way. And I think one of the biggest risks I took recently was hiring on personality and not certifications. Skills can be taught, but definitely not personality. So that's one thing that's paid off for me as well. We hired someone that had no experience in the IT industry. They wanted to get into it. And it's worked out amazing for us. So join a peer group as soon as you can. Peer groups are amazing, and network. That's probably, I don't know, that's probably like 5 or 6 things, but
That is amazing. No, that is exactly what I was after there. So fantastic. Yeah. I think you're absolutely right. Get the right people around you, join peer groups, and actually kind of network with people that are sharing the same frustrations, the same challenges, because it's so worth you investing that time to kind of get that insight back. I think that is absolutely perfect for that kind of thing. So brilliant. So the last thing I would like to ask you is if there's anyone that is listening that would like to reach out to you and continue having a conversation with you, how can they find you online?
Yeah, so you can reach out to me on LinkedIn, Mitch Redekopp on there. And then you can also just find us on our website at rivercitytech.ca.
Fantastic. I will make sure that all the things that we have mentioned will go into the show notes alongside this podcast. I just want to take this opportunity again to thank you for speaking with me today, Mitch, and congratulations again on that award. Fantastic.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it was a pleasure being on here. Thank you.
Thank you. And that concludes this episode. Thank you for listening. I've been Stephen McCormick, and this has been Tub Talk, the podcast for IT consultants. Goodbye for now.
Hey folks, Richard here. Thanks for listening today. I know you've got a ton of options for who you listen to nowadays, so I really appreciate your support. Do you have any feedback on this episode? Ideas for future guests? Tweet me at Tublog using the hashtag TubTalk. I respond to every tweet and really appreciate your feedback. Hey team, this is Richard again. Just one more thing before you take off, and that is MSP Insights. Now, every Tuesday, I share my thoughts on the business of IT with you, the managed service community. Thousands of managed service providers already subscribe to MSP Insights. It's easy to sign up, easy to cancel. MSP Insights is basically a short email from me every Tuesday without fail with advice on growing your IT business, plus cool resources I've found, discovered, or started exploring that week. It's kind of like my diary of cool things and often includes articles or books I've read, tools I've discovered, and events I think you'd be interested in, often sent to me by my friends and Tub Talk podcast guests. So if that sounds fun, a short tiny bite of MSP goodness every Tuesday, and you'd like to try it out, just go to go.tub.co/Tuesday. That's go.tub.co/Tuesday. Drop in your email and you'll get the very next one. Thanks for listening.